Hello everyone, Commish K7 here with your 2019 SRG Fantasy Football League Week 11 recap. Man, do I got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So you know what? Rather than me summarizing, let's just get right to it and shrink myself right down here and pop this right up. Oop, not shrunk yet. There we go. Shrunk on down. So let's get right to it because a lot to talk about and not as much time as I'd like to. So first matchup from Week 11, we have Team Brooks versus the Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers in what is a playoff clinching game for the Darkstalkers and what could be an elimination for Team Brooks. And what do you have it? The Darkstalkers take this one solidly, 123.5 to 86.1. Not only confirming that the Darkstalkers are now in the playoffs, but Team Brooks has now been officially eliminated from playoff contention. So let's see what happened. For Team Brooks, Lamar Jackson absolutely exploded with 40.5 points. Followed by a decent performance by Chris Godwin with 13.7, not meeting his expectations, and Jared Cook coming back in the second half of the season with 11.3. Unfortunately, the rest of his team only went into single digits, where no one really met expectations, so rough game for Brooks. However, for the Darkstalkers, his team did pretty well. My team did pretty well, even though Aaron Rodgers was absent, with a 19.8 performance on the newly returned Nick Foles. Christian McCaffrey doing Christian McCaffrey things, posting 31.1, and Keenan Allen having one of his best games. Actually, I think it's his second best game of the season, posting 21.1 points, and DJ Moore having a good second half so far, posting 17.5. And everyone else, aside from the kicker and Leonard Fournette, either met expectations or exceeded them. So, all things said, Darkstalkers posting a good 125.5 in a push to not only securing a playoff spot, he also keeps himself alive in a fight for the number one spot in the division. See anyone on the bench could have done better? Kyler Murray, great score, not 40.5. Carlos Hyde would have been a better choice than either of his running backs. And everyone else, not so much. For the Darkstalkers, Aaron Rodgers is on the bye. Let's see. Devontae Parker posting 21.5. He's established himself as a solid wide receiver now. Let's see. Kalen Ballage, nope, same as Fournette. Dallas Goedert would have been a better choice than Jason Witten, even as a number 2 tight end against New England of all teams. And Conley, nothing else really of note. So, all things said, Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers secures our first playoff spot with a 123.5 to an 86.1 victory over Team Brooks. Up next, we have Parts Unknown the Secchi versus Thielen Chubby. And Parts Unknown pulling out the upset win, 99.4 to 81. What makes this even crazier is that the Secchi pulled it off without a quarterback, being that a trade that they made that was up, had a lot of contention involved, ended up going, still went through, and he got himself Matthew Stafford, who put up a 0, and he's hurt, and right now they don't have a quarterback. So unfortunately did not have a quarterback, but fortunately for them, everyone else on the team made up for it with a 23.5 by Mark Ingram, 36.7 by John Brown, and 12.5 by Nyheim Hines. OBJ posting 10, though not meeting expectations. And everyone else is single digits, which is enough for a 99.4 score. For Thielen Chubby, though, after Kirk Cousins and Julio Jones, everyone else kind of had a bad week. Redskins, 3 points against the Jets. Ugh, that's rough. And yeah, everyone else single digits, so falls into an 81 point total. And while the Secchi was eliminated from the playoffs last week, definitely playing spoiler this week, because Thielen Chubby in a pretty much one of the people fighting for a playoff spot now. And there's about 5 teams going for 3 spots starting next week, so feeling Chubby's one of them. So let's see what anyone could have done better. Michael Gallup would have been an improvement over OBJ. Randall Cobb, also an improvement. Calvin Ridley, doing really well. Jamison Crowder, surprisingly doing well. So he has a horde of wide receivers on his bench in what a lot of people felt to, or not a lot of people, but a couple people felt to be a roster dump. Or a quarterback dump for the roster dump of another team. But it is what it is. And now he has probably the best wide receiver core on his bench. Overall wide receiver core. So, but overall, Parts Unknown takes this one 99.4 to 81. Oh, sorry, forgot to check this one. Yep, Tariq Cohen would have been better. Carson Wentz, nope. Gore, nope. And yep, so the only improvement would have been it could have been Philip Lindsay or Tariq Cohen instead of Nick Chubb and Tevin Coleman. How about that? All right, well, like I said, 99.4 to 81 goes to Parts Unknown. Up next, we had a rather tight matchup between the Columbus Rebels versus the Moneymaker Dollar Boys. With the Dollar Boys correct. Moneymaker Dollar Boys have also completely secured at least a playoff spot. Both the Dollar Boys and the Darkstalkers have our two clinches so far. And Moneymaker Dollar Boys take this one with a 110.3 to 100.3. A 10-point victory in a surprisingly close matchup for the Rebels. Rebels putting up great fights, just facing the wrong people each week, it seems. So let's see what happened. Todd Gurley having a good game. Stefan Diggs, good game. Jets and Rivers also, and Stephen Hoshka. I don't know however he pronounces his last name. He put up good points too. 15 for a kicker. But everyone else, meh. Which is enough for 100.3. And however, Moneymakers, 26.4 by Michael Thomas, 19.8 by Sutton. Ravens defense still playing strong. 16.7 by the very reliable Dalvin Cook, probably the number 2 running back in the league. And their newly acquired quarterback of Tom Brady instead of, Matthew Stafford. So that trade paid dividends, though it was not the difference maker. And it made up for the 0 by Kaimi Fairbairn. Anyone on the bench could have helped. Jarvis Landry would have been a better choice than Marquise Brown. That actually would have been enough to secure the victory. Mitchell Trubisky, nope. And everyone else zeros. So that could have gone the other way. Kyle Rudolph, 17.7. Would have been better than Noah Fant. Brissett would have been better with 14.1. And Demaryius Thomas, nope, wouldn't have been better than any of the other wide receivers. So, overall, Moneymaker Dollar Boys take this one and secure a playoff spot, 110.3 to 100.3. Up next, we had probably my match of the week with Big Guys Gunners versus the Shaggy Sharks. And the Sharks take this one, 124.4 to 112.4. So, I think I just changed the size for... Nope. Other way. There we go. Much better. So, yeah, not really able to see it as well, but it works. So let's see. See what happened. Yeah, this was another very close match. Only a 12-point margin. So Drew Brees doing Drew Brees things. Alvin Kamara doing great things. Le'Veon Bell doing good things. And Mark Andrews, 17.5. Good, really good score. And I think that is actually turns out to be our highest scoring loss of the week. And Shaggy Sharks, though. Jimmy G, 37.7. Travis Kelce with a 22. And Marvin Jones Jr., 20 points. The double-digit performance by the Patriots defense and Justin Tucker. And a double-digit performance by Kareem Hunt. Made up for a 1.6 by Ty Johnson. So, very close match. But it went in the way of the Shaggy Sharks. And unfortunately, Big Guys Gunners are now officially eliminated from the playoffs. While the Sharks are now in the five-way fight for the final 3 spots. Let's see if anyone on the bench could have helped. Matt Ryan, nope. Mike Williams? Yeah, Mike Williams would have been a better choice than Robinson. Greg Olson? Nope. McKissick? No. Yeah, he had one of his better lineups out today. And for the Sharks, Dak Prescott, slightly better than Jimmy G. But we're talking 37 points, 38 points. Anyone else? Yep. Both wide receivers could have been a better choice. And surprisingly, Brian Hill would have been a better choice than the 1.6 of Ty Johnson. But overall, moot point. Shaggy Sharks take this one, 124.4 to 112.4. Our fifth matchup of the week, Erie Roach versus the Planet Hulk World Breakers. With the Roach fighting for his playoff life and World Breakers trying to fight for one of those final spots. And as we have it, Planet Hulk takes this one, 87.8 to 61.1. And not only 87.8 to 61.1 with the Planet Hulk World Breakers still in the playoff hunt, but unfortunately for the Roach, out he is. He is officially out of the playoff hunt. So let's see what happened. Jameis Winston, 17.8. Nope. Met expectations and led the way for his team, followed by a great performance by the 49ers defense. Unfortunately, the rest of the team not so good, and when fighting for his playoff life, left in a bye player. That's rough. And he did have a replacement in Peyton Barber, so that's unfortunately poor management, and thus resulting in early elimination. Julian Edelman would have been a better choice instead of, say, Alex Erickson or Auden Tate. Basically banking on the Cincinnati wide receivers to do something this week, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. Let's see what went right for the World Breakers. World Breakers keeping Baker Mayfield in instead of Patrick Mahomes. And Mayfield paid off this week with a 24.8 compared to the Mahomes 16.2. Marlon Mack, great game. Josh Jacobs, good game. Darren Waller, still solid tight end performance. Anyone on the bench could have helped? Ted Ginn would have been a better choice than Tyreek Hill, who put up a 0. But that's because he got hurt in the first quarter, I believe, of the game. So that's just a rough break. And is anyone else? Nope. He had one of his better lineups for the week, and it proved to be enough with a 87.8 to 61.1 victory, keeping himself alive in the playoffs. And up next, we have the Grumpy Groupies versus the Metropolis Kryptonite, with Kryptonite fighting for his playoff life as well, and Groupies trying to fight for a playoff spot. Yeah, basically, not only fighting for a playoff spot, but still in the hunt for the league, his division lead. And as we can see here, Grumpy Groupies take this one, 126.6 to a 109.7. See what went right for the Groupies. Well, Josh Allen went right for the Groupies in posting 39.8. Ross Dwelly, the San Francisco tight end, now that Kittle's out for a little bit, he was able to snag the backup, and it paid off with a 17.4. And Ezekiel Elliott doing Ezekiel Elliott things, posting 19.3, which is somehow below his expected 21.5. And everyone else had a decent game. Well, let's see what happened for Kryptonite. Great performance by DJ Chark with a 31.4. Deebo Samuel, 22.4. Zach Ertz, 18.4. Very solid team performance, and a 17 by the Saints defense. Unfortunately, there was one really, 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 really big problem. Deshaun Watson, facing Baltimore, put up a -2. That hurts. That hurts to watch because this game was definitely within reach for them, but you make your management choices as you do. And unfortunately, that -2 hurt. And what makes it even more painful is Derek Carr, who was starting for Oakland, is on his bench with an 18.8. That would have been a difference maker. So let's see if anyone on the bench could have helped change the scores a little bit. Well, LaShawn McCoy is back in full power, and Tony Pollard had a decent game. Both of them would have been better choice than Melvin Gordon. Same thing with Darius Geese. He's back. Or I wouldn't say that he's he is now a starter for Washington. Good pickup. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't realize he had that many running backs on his bench. 5 running backs. So between Zeke and Melvin Gordon, he's got some choices to make. I would not bench Ezekiel Elliott. So, yeah. Anyone on the bench could have helped? Well, aside from the aforementioned Derek Carr, wide receivers, no. Oh, God, no. James White would have been a better choice than James Conner. But Conner's been up and down all season. So that's a tough break. But overall, Grumpy Groupies take this one, 126.6 to a 109.7. And our final matchup of the week, we have Pretty Boy Snow versus Greensburg Honor, where Snow trying to hold on to his number one spot in his division, and Greensburg Honor fighting for a playoff spot. Honor didn't do any favors for himself as Snow takes this one with our biggest margin of victory for the week, 106.4 to 39.3. That's rough. Where Snow had to definitely put up a decent performance. But Honor, actually, I think 39.3 is our lowest score of the season. Pardon me. Is our lowest score of the season for a week. And that doesn't do him any favors, especially when it comes to the tiebreaker and fighting for a playoff spot. So Honor's going to need a lot of things to go right for him in order to make the playoff spot, but he has not been eliminated yet. While Snow, he actually, I do believe if he wins one more game in the season, he secures a playoff spot no matter what, though I think he may have already secured it with this win. Let's take a look at what happened. Sam Darnold, 31.4. Proven great, paying off great dividends. One heck of a pickoff. Pickoff. I'm thinking baseball. One heck of a pickup just to find a sub for Teddy Bridgewater. And yeah. Darnold doing great things. 31.4. Austin Eckler, 22.2. Chargers running back, basically on a timeshare with Melvin Gordon. Still putting up great numbers. Hunter Henry being a great tight end, and the Raiders defense with a 14.5. Great job. And let's see if there was any bright spots on Greensburg Honor this week. Well, there was one bright spot in that Joe Mixon actually remembered that he's a running back and put up 17.3. Unfortunately, the rest of the team may have been better off just staying home, where Goose Egg by Jack Doyle and Chris Boswell ain't doing any favors. Let's see. Anyone on the bench could have helped? Well, not the Texans defense with a -7. Oof. Anyone else? No. Well, Cole Beasley would have been a better choice than Galladay. And Tyrell Williams would have been a great choice to have on the wide receiver team. And Vance McDonald would have been a better choice than Jack Doyle. I've said before, Vance, he's not a top-tier wide receiver. He's not a top-tier tight end, but he gets you 5-6 points a week regardless. So it's steady. And you can't ask for more from a mid-tier tight end. But either way, Pretty Boy Snow takes this one completely with 106.4 to 39.3 over Greensburg Honor. So let's take a look at our current standings. All right. In our Rowdy division, we still have our tie for first place with the tiebreaker going to the Moneymakers. So Moneymakers leading the way, followed by the Darkstalkers, followed by Shaggy Sharks, Thiel and Chubby, Planet Hulk, Greensburg, and Metropolis. Where officially Metropolis Kryptonite has been eliminated from the playoff contention. Where Greensburg and Planet Hulk, along with Thiel and Chubby and Shaggy Sharks, all fighting for a final playoff spot. Where Dollar Boys and Darkstalkers have secured a spot at the very least. On the Rude Brood, we have Pretty Boy Snow still leading the way with a 1-game lead, followed by Grumpy Groupies, who's nipping at his heels, and followed by a 4-way tie with a Big Guy Gunners, Team Brooks, Parts Unknown the Secchi, Erie Roach, and at the bottom we have Columbus Rebels. Right now, it looks like Gunners, Brooks, Secchi, and Roach are all eliminated from playoff contention. Where Groupies not only fighting for a playoff spot, fighting for the division lead. So, going to be keeping an eye on this one for the remaining couple weeks of the season, which I will be going into after I finish the recap. Let's take a look at some stats. points for Moneymakers still leads the way with 1363.6, followed by Shaggy Sharks with a 1279, and followed by the Darkstalkers 1259. Seems Sharks and Darkstalkers are ping-ponging back and forth here, but some magic is really gonna have to happen for either of them to overtake Moneymakers in terms of total points so far. On the bottom, we have Columbus Rebels with an 887, followed by Erie Roach with a 944, and Parts of Noseki with a 994. Greensburg, that 39 dropped him down a bit, unfortunately. So, take a look at points against as I just segue myself. Pretty Boy Snow still has the lowest points against for the season, followed by the Darkstalkers with only 10-11 against them this season. Which, considering his losses were his two losses. One was a very close game, and the other was a very bad week. So surprisingly, I've had a bit of luck in terms of opponents this season. As surprised as I am about that. Any big streaks? Well, Moneymakers still on that win streak with 8 wins. Can anyone bump him off with Can anyone hit him with a loss before the end of the season? And Team Brooks. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Team Brooks with a 5 losing streak right now. Take a look at the moves. Not much has changed. Grumpy Groupies still leading the way with 39 moves, followed by Darkstalkers, followed by Big Guys Gunners, and then we got 19s and 18s. On the bottom, Columbus Rebels, only 5 moves made this season, which is a shame. Let's take a look at our projected playoff bracket if the season ended today. Moneymaker Dollar Boys leading the way with the number 1 seed. Pretty Boy Snow taking the number 2 seed as he's leading his division. Number 3 seed, Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers. Number 4, Shaggy Sharks. Number 5, Thiel and Chubby. And number 6, Grumpy Groupies. Right now, Dollar Boys and Darkstalkers have secured the playoff spot. Whether it be the number 1 seed or not, that still can be determined in the final 2 weeks. Pretty Boy Snow and Grumpy Groupies also in a fight for the league lead. And to be honest, Sharks and Thielen still are within striking distance. Because as you can see, if it loads, they're only 2 games behind. If they win out and the Darkstalkers and Dollar Boys lose out, it could be an interesting scene. We could have a 4-way tie for first place. But we'll see how it goes. So as we're going on, there we go. So let's take a look at the schedule. There are some interesting matchups coming as we make our final playoff push. Right, but first let's take a look at next week's schedule. Let's take a look at next week just to see who we're facing next. Scoreboard. Next week, we have a very intense matchup between the Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers and Pretty Boy Snow. One has been quite vocal about the luck that Snow has been going on this season. It's me. And yeah, so we shall see what happens. Right now, I am completely wrapping the entire team in bubble wrap in hopes that no one gets hurt. And so let's see if he actually faces a team that isn't plagued by a ton of bye weeks or injuries or random not startings. So we shall see what happens with but right now I'm projected for a 110.5 while Snow is projected to an 80.7. I have a feeling that Grump may be rooting for me this game because I hit Snow with a loss and Grumpy wins next week. There's going to be a tie in the final week of the season. So we shall see what happens. And we also have Thiel and Chubby versus Team Brooks. Brooks looking to play spoiler against a playoff hopeful. Right now, projected 89 to an 88.8. That is projected to be our closest matchup so far. Up next, we have Moneymaker Dollar Boys versus Parts Unknown the Seki. The Seki pulling off a good upset last week. Can he do it again against Moneymakers, the team that he made that trade with? Right now, though, it looks like Moneymakers are slated to take this one pretty solidly, a 96.4 to a 63. But that's probably because teams have not been fully set yet. We also have the Shaggy Sharks versus Columbus Rebels. Rebels looking to play spoiler against the playoff hopeful team in the Shaggy Sharks. But right now, it's projected to have the Shaggy Sharks win 86.1 to 54.8. Next, we also have Planet Hulk World Breakers versus the big guys Gunners. Gunners also looking to play spoiler because Planet Hulk needs to win out the remaining 2 weeks of the season, along with a couple other things going wrong for other teams. But in order to make a win, they need to win, pure and simple. Right, but right now it looks like Gunners 121.7 to 64.8 in the Gunners' favor. So we shall see what happens when the lineups are set. We also have Metropolis Kryptonite versus Erie Roach. Two teams that have just been eliminated from the playoffs facing off each other for bragging rights. Right now it looks like Kryptonite might be taking this one 108.6 to 67.4. And our final matchup of the week, we have two teams fighting for playoff spots with Greensburg Honor facing the Grumpy Groupies. Greensburg not only needs to win out, but also needs some other teams to lose. One of those teams being the Groupies. And right now it looks like Greensburg 102.9 to over the Groupies 56.8. But we shall see what happens when the lineups are set. Let's see. A projected top scorer of the week is looking to be Christian McCaffrey with a 24.6, followed by Jackson with 24.1, and followed by, I believe, Michael Thomas, slated to get... Matt Ryan, slated to get 23.9. Well, Michael Thomas slated to get 23, which is still pretty good. So, woo! Let's take a look at the game lines quickly. Right now, Sniper's Edge with a minus 29.8 over Pretty Boy Snow. Feeling Chubby with a minus 0.7 over Team Brooks. We have Moneymaker Dollar Boys minus 33.3 over Seki. Shaggy Sharks with a minus 31.3 over the Rebels. Big Guys Gunners minus 56.9 over the Planet Hulk World Breakers. Metropolis Kryptonite minus 41.2 over the Roach. And we have Greensburg with a minus 46.1 over the Groupies. Will these stand the test of time as we go through the week? Probably not, but we shall see what happens at the end of the week. Now, let's get into a bit on the schedule coming up. We got 2 weeks left in the season, and while two people have secured the playoff spots, there are essentially five spots left between five teams. Right now, we got Darkstalkers and Dollar Boys holding the playoff spots. Bunch eliminated, and the winner of the Rude Brood, which is either going to be Snow or the Groupies, to get that guaranteed playoff spot. However, there is still a bit of a cluster getting the final spot. We have a battle between Shaggy Sharks. We have between Feelin' Chubby, Shaggy Sharks, Grumpy Group, the loser of Grumpy Groupies and Snow, Greensburg Honor, and Planet Hulk World Breakers. Right now, Sharks, Grump, and Feelin' have the playoff spots, with Greensburg and Planet Hulk both down one game. So in the final 2 weeks of the season, if certain things go right, they can do well. But let's take a look at the playoff picture right now. Being that Darkstalkers and Dollar Boys are both fighting for that number 1 seed, but it looks like, looking at the schedule, let's look at the schedule for Dollar Boys. He is facing Partson on the Seki and Erie Roach. Judging by how some matches have gone this season, he is slated to go 2-0. While the Darkstalkers have a bit of a tougher schedule ahead of them, facing the two league leaders of the Rude Brood in both Pretty Boy Snow and the Groupies. So, who knows? That second playoff spot is essentially determined by how well I do, or how well the Darkstalkers do. If he's got both Snow and Groupies facing off. So if he takes down Snow and Groupies win against Greensburg, that'll lead to a very interesting final week of the season for this setup. So keep your eyes on that one. Let's see. We also have Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk is facing both Big Guys Gunners and Partson on the Seki. He's facing two teams that have been eliminated. But he still needs to win at the very least one of them. But I believe that it's almost not possible, depending on the matchups, that he needs to win both of them. He simply put, Planet Hulk needs to win out, along with Greensburg Honor. Greensburg facing Grumpy Groupies and the big guys Gunners. Groupies fighting for that spot. So Honor needs to win this one. And Groupies, if they win this one, I think Greensburg's playoff hopes are kissed goodbye. And week 13, he's facing Big Guys Gunners, a team that's been eliminated, but definitely would love to play spoiler. Let's see. Let's take a look at Thiel and Chubby. We got Thiel and Chubby versus Team Brooks, followed by Pretty Boy Snow. So while Team Brooks may have been eliminated, I have a feeling Brooks would certainly like to also play spoiler and potentially knock Thielen out of the playoffs. Or not knock him out of the playoffs, but put his playoff life on the line in the final week of the season, where Thielen is facing the current league leader of the Rude Brood. For Shaggy Sharks, we have Sharks versus Columbus Rebels, followed by Sharks versus Team Brooks. So, unfortunately, he's not facing any playoff contending teams, but he still needs to secure a spot himself, so he needs to win. And finally, any other interesting ones? I think we already went into Groupies. Groupies facing Greensburg Honor, and Groupies facing Sniper's Edge. So, out of the teams that are fighting for a playoff spot, right now it seems that only the Groupies are facing playoff contenders each week. And actually, yeah. Darkstalkers are facing a playoff contender each week. Groupies are facing a playoff contender each week. And anyone else facing a contender each week? No, that's only 1 week. 1 week. Yeah, only 1 week. So yeah, we have two teams facing playoff contenders. Actually, no, and Pretty Boy Snow. So Darkstalkers, Snow, and Groupies are the ones that are facing playoff contenders each week. So that could lead to some interesting setups depending on who wins, who loses. So keeping an eye on that one. And yeah, that's it for the planning and foreshadowing of the final 2 weeks of the season. Can one of our playoff hopefuls secure a spot next week? Will there be any changes in the division lead? Will the lead somehow explode? Who knows? But for those of you who tuned in, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time. Good luck in the playoff hunt, and may the rolls ever be in your favor. Peace.